Okay, so I was trying to decide what to talk about, and I figured it's good to do an update on this project. I haven't talked about it in a minute. Those who didn't see, I did some carving on my holster for my black powder revolver, and when I bought the Confederate holster, I knew I was going to make a joke about big black dicks on it. Wasn't sure exactly what that was going to be, but the thing that instantly occurred to me was the thing I ended up doing, which is I just carved BB in front of the CS on the revolver holster. I carved some other shit too. You can go look at pictures of it on Instagram. I did an RC and some titties and a fucking wheel of pain and a lesbian triangle because, you know, why not? I wanted, something that I liked. I like it. It's a pirate holster. I like the idea of the big black cock revolver because I liked the movie Django Unchained. I liked many other movies too. We'll talk about that. But in the movie Django Unchained, they set it in the black powder revolver era. They did that because that's when the spaghetti westerns were set mostly. That's all of the Sergio Leone westerns that were made in Italy. All of those like Clint Eastwood movies, they had black powder guns, and they did that for a bunch of reasons. But I think it's mostly like a legality thing in Italy. It made it easier to shoot or something like that. In any case, I always thought those movies were cool because in reality, most of the West was shot with those guns. And Django was this like revenge porn thing that's like a black exploitation movie made in the 2000s. I don't even know. I love it. I love Tarantino. And like that's what this gun is to me. This is if I was going to present Tarantino with a gun as a gift, I'd give him this revolver in this holster. Okay, like that's how I look at this thing. Like it's many other things. I wouldn't give this to Tarantino. I love it too much. But that's kind of the spirit of this gun. Is I wanted a black powder gun for the 21st century that had one foot clearly in historical shit. Like I don't want a Ruger New Army or whatever. I want a gun that theoretically could have existed. That's what this is. This is kind of a modern gun in reality because like I Colt might have made a sheriff's model and might have even made an engraved version for the U.S. Marshals, but I doubt it. It's probably a thing that's like made up by somebody at some point. Pieta choosing to make this gun that probably never existed, I love. I love that they made it in a 44 caliber and made it in a navy because this is a navy. It's navy styled. It's got a navy grip on it, but it's a 44 caliber navy, and they fluted the cylinder, which makes it lighter. Like I love everything about this gun. So for this gun to also be a giant joke about the Civil War and America and big black dicks and slavery and the whole thing, like it's how I feel about the whole thing. Like I don't really care. I just, I'm just here for the violence and the sex, I guess. Bunch of people just caught in the middle who all fucking hate each other for no fucking reason. It's kind of how I view the world. People just got out of each other's way for half a second. I think it would give people perspective to, you know, realize some shit. Also, it's very, very difficult um, to tell some people that the lifestyle that they live, that they consider to be what everyone should live, is a made up fantasy thing that is basically built on the backs of slaves. You know, there's ways to do it that it's not that, But currently, that's kind of where America is. Um, the ways to do it where it's not that would be making all our own shit here and paying people livable wages. And that's really, that never really happened. There was this brief period after World War II where we kind of did that for a minute. I think basically modern society is not a sustainable thing. It inevitably ends in collapse. That's why I think so many fucking empires have risen and fallen on this planet. And all we're watching now is the death of the American empire and then a fight for the globe. And the interesting part is basically between America being weakened down, the Chinese building up for the last 3 decades, and the Russians kind of just being Russians, uh, we're all almost on an even footing again. And this is why we're going to have World War III. And it looks like it's going to be China and Russia versus the West. And like that's, it's always been that. This is the nightmare scenario, Russia and China teaming up. Because really, the only reason that they didn't rule the planet before was because they didn't get along. And now they agree on one thing, and it's that the United States should go fucking take a hike. Uh, and at the same time, we're dealing with all of the shit this revolver represents in America because of various things. But it seems like the Obama era was not good for race relations in this country. It seems like there are like a very small group of like Nazis and rich white people that hate black people, and there's also a pretty decent group of black people that they maybe it's not that they hate white people. It's a mixture of seeing this for what it is, disliking slavery and all of the shit that happened with it during it and before and after it, and then a whole heap mixed on of, well, fuck those people because they keep fucking doing it. And like it's created this like upper crust class of African Americans that only goes one of two directions. They either go uh, hardcore right wing because they were raised in some religious family or whatever, or they are the people that you currently hate, basically. All of the people that are in Hollywood and in the Democratic Party that just kind of show their ass all the time, make a big deal about shit that happened 200 years ago as to why they're not getting a movie role. Shit like that, like there is racism in America. You can go experience it, go to the South. You don't experience it getting cast in Hollywood movies. You just don't. Now, was Harvey Weinstein maybe making you suck his dick? Maybe. And if you're a hot black chick and you want a part in a Tarantino movie, I could give you a good idea how to go get one. But like, I doubt that he's just doing that shit. Like, I think Quentin Tarantino has a Pam Grier fetish. I mean, who doesn't? Pam Grier's hot. I I have this like mixed attraction to African American transgender women. It's one of those things that either they're really, really, really into me and probably weird, or they're extremely, extremely attractive and they're only into men, which is understandable, to be honest. Um, I'm kind of getting that way myself. It's one of those like, I don't think I could have my heart broken that bad again. And that's why the lesbian triangle on the fucking holster. Like that's that's me. That's I think that's a lot of people, to be honest. Like I like men. I like sex with men. Uh, I even could see a romantic relationship with the right man. Just men in general tend to be kind of pieces of shit. And then you meet, you know, a girl that you get along with, that you have hot lesbian sex with. Pretty easy to just, say fuck men. I think there's a whole lot of trans women that end up at that, basically. And, that is what it is. Men have a whole thing built up in their head as to what sex is going to be. And that's the thing, like, you realize fucking people in the 21st century is one of the main issues in the world is women don't know what they want until it starts chasing them. And we've made a society now where pretty much they have to chase you, and they don't want to chase you. They want to be chased. Take it from someone that wants to be chased. I don't fucking go after anybody, really. I've gone after like two people in my entire life. Everybody else just kind of floats in and out. One of those I'm doing currently, to be honest. And he is a man. And white, to be honest. White-ish. He's like, I don't know what he is. He looks Puerto Rican. I could deal with that. It's one of those things like, I don't think he quite realizes yet that he's going to be like, running around the house in a thong, but, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. It's a good way to be about life. That's how, most things ever actually get done. You just be really good at making decisions in the moment and go from moment to moment making decisions. Now, it helps to have an overarching plan, right? You should definitely do that. But like, there's some things where like, if you have to walk to Mordor, it gives you time to think about what you're going to do when you get there. So just start walking. And that's the we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. For me, I don't know what is going to go on the top of this holster yet, and I'm not 100% sure where I want the knife and what I want to do to the lower half of the holster. So, this isn't a emergent thing. This is an art project that'll take fucking years, probably. I've already been working on this revolver for over a year, probably. I bought it last. Yeah, I bought it around this time of the year. Yeah, it was like the start of October last year. Okay, and the gun is mostly done. It needs something. I don't know what it is. The holster is kind of you know, it's a labor of love, so I don't work on it when I don't feel inspired to. That's kind of how, like, I think most things should be done. That's why, in reality, the world is so fucked up. Do you need, you know, 800 plain Jane AR-15s? Some people think they do. And like I get the cool factor of having a case of all matching guns. That is cool. And I seriously considered at one point going with my collection as like building equipment for arming a group of people and you know looking at it that way. I don't decided not to do that. And I decided not to do that like 10 years ago. and I decided to instead focus on knowledge because it was lightweight. And I figured that knowledge was probably worth more. So my goal in having a gun collection was to rotate through guns and gain experiences and shit, and to play with and modify stuff as I kind of wanted to. And most of my modifications were on the conservative side. You know, I'm doing crazy stuff now because I'm not intending to like make money off of these ever. Like these are my guns. I intend to probably have them until I give them to someone, or maybe destroy them, or I don't know what I'm going to do with these when I die. Like give them to a museum, give them to some kid. I don't know. The chances that I just give all of my guns to some kid are high, very high. I just go through Wannamaker and look for somebody that looks right. And part of that is I love these things. I want whoever has them after me to love them too. And that would be, I should probably sell them. But I don't want to just sell them cheap because you sell them cheap, people just take the mods off and clean them up, and you know some shit you can't undo. Like this revolver, like you could take the sight off pretty easy, but the rear sight modification is done with a file. So good luck with that one. The grip on this thing, there's no taking that shit back. Like it is kind of perfect. It's how I like wood to be anyway. My uncle, I gave him a little open L knife that I modded for his birthday. There's pictures of it on Instagram too. It's a little number four. I did a mustard patina and torched the handle. I did it as an experiment to see what I would do on other knives or whatever, and ended up deciding to give it to him for his birthday. Anyway, his comment on it was, "Well, you should really use a lacquer or something and shine up that grip." I'm like, "Well, I beeswaxed it." He's like, "Yeah, but that's not that good." And I'm like, what he doesn't understand is if you really use it, that beeswax takes a shine over time, and it has this like luster. There's no other way to get it. Okay, my hammer handle has it. This revolver handle has it now. Okay, I literally torched this grip with a blowtorch and then rubbed a bunch of beeswax onto it, kind of lukewarm paste like, and then heated it up over a fucking stove burner until all the fucking beeswax absorbs into the fucking wood and or melts. And once it's all liquidy and all over the grip, you let it dry a couple of times like that and really soak in. Wipe off all the excess and kind of buff it with a paper towel, and you're good. It makes the best fucking like wood grips in the world. They feel amazing. They feel like a blacksmith's hammer handle, which, if you never felt one of those, you wouldn't get that that is like a smooth yet grippy surface that you can have in your hand all day. Okay? It's not fucking what's it called? It's not a shellac or a fucking paint or whatever. It's the wood has been changed by fire and wax. That beeswax absorbing into that burnt wood, the combo does something. I don't know. But it makes this gun's grip look like a grip from the 1860s. And my thought is The only way to get a gun grip to remotely look like this is some sort of process similar to it. Okay, maybe a shitload of age with a lot of coats of oil would do the same thing. But my guess is some of these guns back in the day, there was someone else that knew what the fuck they were doing and they were torching their handles. That's my theory on most of those guns. Is I think maybe not everybody was an iron worker or whatever, but like someone in the group probably was, and somebody probably knew how to do this to a hammer handle. And like once one guy in the outfit does it and somebody feels it, it's not that hard of a thing to do. I think that's why so many of these guns from back in the 1860s, 1870s, when you see them today, they don't have a grip that looks like, some plain wood grip. They have a grip that looks like this, either from age or from doing it. And honestly, after doing this, I don't think it's age that did it to those grips. I think they did their grips very much like this. Whether that was Colt from the factory doing their grips this way, which may very well have been. I would like to know. That's one thing that like if I could send this revolver to someone, I would love to send it to Duelist 1954. I forget his name. That's his channel name though. He has great black powder videos. And I would love to like send him this ready to shoot and have him review it because I'm curious as to how it would do. Like I want an impartial jury or whatever. And the cool part about a black powder gun is you could actually send it to somebody pretty easy. Like I don't like doing a bunch of 4473s and shit just to send somebody a fucking gun. And that's kind of half of my thoughts with doing black powder guns is you know I can mod black powder guns pretty easy. I don't know if that's going to become a business or whatever in the future, but if I can still get kits from Dixie Gun Works, I'm going to start getting those and building those out. But it looks like kind of everything right now is on hold on an international shipping level, at least in gun parts wise. Like, I think basically the system is so taxed, nobody's worrying about doing fucking black powder revolvers right now. Kind of sad. It's one of the eras of firearms I actually really love is the percussion black powder era. The flintlock black powder era, I think, is neat, but it's a pain in the ass. I'm going to buy a flintlock. I don't know which model yet. I'm going to make a pirate hooker pistol out of it. So, more than likely, I think I'll get a Queen Anne pistol. Pedersoli makes one of those. Although I have not been impressed with Pedersoli, so maybe I won't do that. I bought a Pedersoli Baker Cavalry shotgun that I just sold. It sucked. Maybe I should have bought a new one instead of a used one, but fuck. It's one of my big regrets is that I saved the $100 on that. I didn't just order the gun that I really should have fucking bought in the first place. So I was talking about buying a black powder side-by-side hunting shotgun. And E Honda and Matt and them talked to me until I decided I was going to get the short barrel one. That's one of those, like, had I not had that influence, I don't think I would have done that. And I'd probably still have a shotgun. And I sold that Pedersoli before Wannamaker. And the reason was I was never going to use it. Its trigger mechanism sucked something fierce. And I guess, that was an expensive lesson learned. I'm glad I learned it, but I wish I had fucking not learned that $800 lesson. Because that's what, like... Sorry, that was my leg rubbing on the leather chair. Makes all sorts of noises. I'm sure that sounds great to people. I need to find a better place to fucking do this show from. Eventually, yeah, when I'm on the road, I'm hoping to do this out of the driver's seat of the van. Be fucking cool. I watched, what's that fucking called? Big Trouble in Little China the other day. I'm thinking about like this show is like the Pork Chop Express when he's talking. That's, me. For all you know, I'm going and fighting demons. You don't really know what I'm doing. But just strap in and listen up here to the old Pork Chop Express. Jack Burton will tell you what to do. I love that fucking movie. It's such a great movie. Uh, Anyone made it to the end of this video, tell me if you liked Big Trouble in Little China. I might do that as the next video. See you guys later.